Welcome to Live, life-inspired views for every day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Once, when I was volunteering at a hospital, I was talking with a lovely elderly patient about the services the hospital offered for her comfort when a doctor, a surgeon, entered the room with his small entourage of attendees. He began speaking to the patient as if I was not in the room, totally dismissing me as an invisible bystander. I quietly told the patient I would be back and left the room. The way he dismissed me without even recognizing that I was in conversation was totally rude. It sat in my craw all day. Some might feel it necessary to justify and excuse his actions because of his intense role as a surgeon, highly trained with pressures and expectations. I just couldn't figure out why I could not let it go. And then it hit me. I remembered the work these past several weeks, debriefing several trauma situations of area emergency response units that consisted of ambulance personnel, firefighters, dispatchers, sheriff, police, and state law enforcement officers as they worked through the events of 2 suicides, an attempted murder, and other traumas. They may not have had as much training as a surgeon who rudely dismissed me, but they had put their lives on the line for hours in hostile standoffs to protect the lives of children, families, and community. They may not have had as much social clout as a surgeon, but they deserved just as much respect for the positions they held in their respective roles of service. And they were kind, respectful, and thankful to those of us who helped them reframe their memories of the trauma into ways that would allow them to continue going to the front lines and risk their lives again. So, the point of this narrative is that no matter who you are, what post you hold, what role you serve, it is never excusable to dismiss others with the assumption that your importance supersedes their presence. There is never an excuse to be rude, no matter who you are. This scenario is in the adult world. Just think how often the same thing is practiced in the K-12 schools as well as colleges today. Dismissing others who do not have clout, who are different from your social group, who may be shy or socially awkward, who might struggle with ADHD, anxieties, depression, autism, or other mental health challenges, is done every age level in our society. Kindness nurtures the hearts and souls of people. Recently, 3 students were fatally shot at Michigan State University. I read in an article by Associated Press that the man who shot these students had left a note describing himself as being hated, a loner, and an outcast. He wrote, "I'm tired of being rejected. I'm a person. They hate me. Why? I tell my counseling students, I told my elementary students what my dad said to me. He said, observe, observe, observe. Look for those who are unseen, invisible. Recognize those who just do not know how to socialize and connect. Lead them in conversation. Show your interest in who they are and what they have to say. If we do that, lives might be saved. We are as important as the surgeon who saves lives with a scalpel. We just do it with a smile, kind words, and a listening ear." Last week, we all heard of the tragic shooting in the Christian school in Nashville. I'm reminded so often of the African proverb that describes the why in so many of these tragedies. The proverb says, "The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth." Wow. After last week's podcast, I received a text with a YouTube link from my good friend Connie Johnson. In the video, actor Ian McClellan is sharing with some listeners about a taxi ride he had when he returned to London. The male taxi driver said to him, as most do in that country, "Where are you going to, love?" As he shared that story, Ian McClellan suddenly burst into tears and said, Oh, and suddenly I feel I'm home, where grown men call strangers love. I think if we all did that, it would be a better place, wouldn't it? And when people got problems with gender and pronouns and so on, love covers everything, really. Just call everyone love. That's why I chose love. Oh, that video said it all. If you don't say it out loud, Look at everyone and mentally call them love. Wherever you are, observe those around you. Grant a smile. Wait and do not interrupt. Kindly acknowledge those who need to be noticed. Would you do that for me, love? This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, "There is no excuse to be rude." Join me next Monday for Live, Life-Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.